Libra. Sorry, my hair is all over the place. Welcome to your Saturn Hot Mess Horoscope Special. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just getting my channel off the ground, so all support is appreciated. As always, description box has information on private readings if you're interested. Hiya, hey, you're my last video, and I'm excited. I'm going to talk to you a little bit first about why the Saturn transit is significant, and then I'm going to pull just a few cards for y'all. Ooh, here comes one flying out. Knight of Wands. Hi. Hello. Cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about Saturn, and then we'll talk about the houses that he just transited and that he's about to transit for you, okay? So Saturn transits it takes about 30 years to transit through all 12 houses of your chart, and each house represents a different area of your life, okay? So for the better part of the last 3 years, he's been hanging out in your third house. So the third house is a house that rules communication, intellect, travel, sort of the conscious mind, things you, maybe not travel so much, but things that you, research, analysis, sort of like the intellectual operationalization of things. Okay, and with Saturn there in particular, this might have looked like formal education for you. This might have looked like you being challenged and having to really step up in things related to management, operations, writing, editing, again, research or analysis. You know, these very conscious mind pursuits, okay? So when Saturn left your third house on the 20th of December, and has been for about 3 weeks or so, he's been hanging out in your fourth house, where he will stay for most of the next 3 years. So when Saturn parks it in one of your houses, you can expect to see delays, challenges, frustrations in that area of your life. Saturn is a tough love planet, by which I mean he will come in, he will work you hard like a coach, basically. He will just keep making you repeat lessons. He will make you put the work in. But at the end of the transit, you might be tired, you might be a little battered and bruised, but you'll be smarter, you'll be better. Okay? He comes in to teach you lessons. So delays is a big one, because he's also just kind of like a slow moving energy. So it's not like you're going to be just sort of like moving through these transits really fast. It's very slow. It's a very slow and gradual process. Okay, it's going to take some time. In the fourth house, where he will be transiting for the next 4 years for you, the fourth house is your home. Okay, so this can mean things like your physical home, you know, literally the house, the property you live in, the land. But it can also mean, you know, home in the sense of like family. And if you, regardless of whether or not you have your own family, like you have your own children or a partner or whatever, you can expect to deal with a lot of old family stuff in this transit, because it's all about how you engage in family now as a result of the family you were raised in, whatever that looked like for you. Parents are going to come up a lot, I think, for this. Your relationship with your parents or lack thereof. And a lot of you looking at how the things that you do now with your own family, with partners, if any of that's relevant, just how you handle homemaking now. Not homemaking in the sense of like Martha Stewart, but you know what I mean. You know, how you engage in family communion with other people. It's all about how you did it. Oh, hi. It's all about how you did it as a kid, or how you experienced other people doing it as a kid. You might see things come up now where you're repeating relationship patterns that your parents had. And some of these patterns might not be good. Okay. You just might be finding deeper understanding of the ways in which you behave now are impacted by the ways in which other people in your house growing up behaved, okay? This might be a little challenging. It would be challenging in general to deal with that kind of stuff, okay? Sorry, my hair is a mess. But For y'all, you guys don't like confrontation, right? I'm having a moment. I apologize. You don't like confrontation, and this might be a part of this transit for you because it may or may not be, depending on what kind of stuff comes to the surface. Some of it, in order to fully heal, in order to fully address it, in order to fully understand it, it might require you actually confronting someone, whether that's a parent or a sibling or whomever, okay? And I'm gonna have to ask you to just do it if that's what the situation calls for. Now, I think a lot of wounds can be healed without the involvement of family members, and in fact, sometimes involving the relevant family members can actually make it worse, depending on how toxic they are, okay? So you can be the judge of that, all right? But don't let yourself shy away from it. Pardon me. Hey, interesting. Don't avoid it simply because you don't like confrontation. If you're avoiding it, I want you to avoid it because it will only make it worse. You know, sometimes confrontation makes it worse, and that I will respect, but sometimes it's what's needed, and I don't want you to shy away from it if that's the case. You dig? Okay. Sorry if you can hear. I have roommates, dogs are home. I apologize for any background noise. I'm going to do at least one more card for you, Libra. Yeah, so I think this is a time for y'all. First of all, I just want to say that all the cards that are coming out so far are good. So, you know, even if you are going to be doing some heavy work as it relates to home and how you conceive of home, it looks like it's all for the good. And like I said, I mean, that is Saturn. Ooh, girl, no. Sorry, I just threw like half the deck out on accident. These cards are so old and bent. I've had them for 15 years. I know I need a new deck, but I'm attached to them. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I see good, like so far, it's a strong layout. So fear not. And like I said, Saturn does leave you better. But you will have to put work in. And again, you know, Libra, sometimes you're an air sign like me. Sometimes you try it. Sometimes like you don't. And because you're so charming, you can get away with it. Sometimes you can kind of be a little bit lazy because you're so charming that you get out of things. But no, Saturn ain't like that. Saturn doesn't really care about that. He doesn't think you're that cute. Okay, he's just not that into you. It's not personal. Ace of Pentacles reversed. I'll do one more. I want like a final outcome for y'all. Okay. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Sun, the reversed Empress, the reversed Ace of Pentacles down currently. Okay. So the third house transit was probably a nice transit for you. Or if not nice, like, if not necessarily pleasant, like I think you probably learned a lot. Because you are an air sign, and the third, even though you don't rule the third house, it is a very airy house. It's the Gemini house. So, hey girl. I'm just like praying. I just got through my 7th house transit, which is the transit of relationships and partnerships. That was fun. And then now it's in my 8th house, which deals with like, girl, the 8th house, the 8th house is deep. All right, we'll just say that. And I'm already a little bit sleepy. I'm just waiting for it to transit my 3rd house. I'm like, I could do a 3rd house Saturn transit. Okay, I know I can handle that, okay? Just have to wait, what, 15 years or something? It'll be great. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a great time. No? Okay, one more card. Actually almost did. Confession time. I almost did this reading. Not that I'm wearing anything particularly fancy, but I almost did this reading in like this really cozy sweater. And I literally was like, oh, I can't do that to a Libra. They will be like, ma'am, what are you wearing? How dare you? Interesting. 7 of Cups. How dare you show up to my reading in pajamas? So don't worry, I didn't do it, okay? I didn't do it. Hi, so we have the Knight of Wands, If I had a better camera situation, I would just show you the cards as they're laid out, but I'm bringing them up to you. The Sun, which is great. The Empress in reverse. The reverse Ace of Pentacles. I'm just like throwing them really quickly. The reverse Ace of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups, okay? First of all, hi. The reverse Empress, like I said, there's gonna be a little bit of upheaval in the home, okay? It's not necessarily gonna feel super pleasant. This is your idea of home, your idea of your parents, your idea of your family, you're gonna be examining things for a greater purpose, for a higher purpose, right? That's Saturn. For a higher purpose, we want to get you closer to here, okay? But it might be a little unpleasant. It might be uncomfortable, okay? But I really love the Knight of Wands here. And of course the Sun. Because the Sun is just blessings all around, okay? And also here, I think related to this, there's this like light being shown on everything, okay? So just the light of truth, not necessarily just the light of blessings and like the light of God, but the light of truth coming through. And it doesn't necessarily mean, I keep talking about family. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you discovered some great secret about your family, or like you went through this huge falling out with your dad because you realized that your dad behaved in this way and that's why you keep doing this. But it's going to give you some insight into, the Sun is going to give you some insight into how you are replicating, or not necessarily replicating, but how the ways in which you behave now are due to the things that happen in your home. It could be literally your physical home, the home, sorry about the dog, the home that you shared with your parents or whomever raised you. It could also be your home country. It could also be your hometown. These things that we think of as encompassing our home are complicated. There's not, there's a lot of gray lines. It could be literally like your home language. I mean, like, it's not really relevant for this reading, but my point being, there's a lot to include when we're talking about the concept of home. But either way, whatever that means to you, however that feels for you, what home feels like for you, you're going to be looking at that right now. And you're going to be dealing with things in a way that you maybe haven't dealt with them before, but it will be all for the better. You're going to maybe be feeling a little bit like this, okay? It might be confusing. There's a lot of confusion here, okay? What's what? Sorry, sorry about the lighting. What's what? Oh my God, like I just, I shone the light and now I'm seeing things. Now things been turned on their head and I'm just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? It's okay. You can handle it. You're brave. I actually see a lot of Libra here. Even though this is more of a fire card, I see a lot of Libra here. Just that vibrancy, a willingness to go in. You guys have a great attitude. Libras have a fantastic attitude. You guys really do. You are like the cheerleaders of the zodiac. You really are. And sometimes it's not genuine. Sometimes you're that way because you feel like you have to be that way, and word, that's exhausting. And then this reverse Ace of Pentacles. This one has me stuck. I feel like for this reading, like I said at the beginning, I'm emphasizing a lot the sort of relationships as it relates to home. But there is also a sense here of like the material side of that as well. Okay? So that could be literally like right now, if you're thinking of like buying a home, moving in with someone, like moving in with a partner that you want to start a family with or something like that. I'm not going to say I don't know if be cautious is the right thing I want to say. But certainly, again, like just keep an eye on this, keep the light shining, don't make it a point to see things for the way that they are, understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, understand why you want the things you want when it comes to home, when it comes to family. There could also be inheritance here. And I'm a little bit nervous with this in reverse because it could be either inheritance wasted or less inheritance than expected. I'm thinking more inheritance wasted. So be careful if you come into some money from family members right now. And I say inheritance and we tend to think of like someone passed away and you got money. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, right? It could be a lot of different things. If you get money from your family during this time, be careful about how you spend it. Which is hard for y'all. Y'all can do this. Hi, woo woo. You tend to be a little extravagant in your spending, right? Same. That's not, I mean, like, it's a little bit true. It's a little bit true. But for y'all, that's a thing. But overall, I mean, overall, this is a good reading, I think. I mean, the sun, man. Hi. Hey. Hey. That's great. We love the sun, okay? The sun is waning where I am. You can hear my roommates screaming in the background. Anyway. Can you hear this? I think that's a good excuse to end this. So yeah, Libra, just keep doing what you do. Thanks for tuning in. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Message me for readings. The email listed below. God bless. Enjoy the next 3 years. I will have, starting in February, I will start releasing monthly readings for each sign. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe. Okay, bye.